doing stories of Nachman and interpretations. I mean, I don't think you're here for that. So I'm going to learn a little story. Here, there's one here with English also trying to see it. The story we're learning is actually one of the shorter stories, and it's about the humble king. Okay, you heard this before? Okay. The story goes like this. Okay, ready? The story of a king who had a wise man and an advisor. And the king told the advisor that he heard that in a different country there's another king who signs his name the strong and humble king. That's what he's trying to understand. Okay. So he says, I know that he is actually a strong king. I know this because surrounding his kingdom there's this big moat and lots of soldiers and that these cannons pointing at the road, and he can only walk on the road a single file, and like there's no way of getting into his country without his permission. So I know that he's strong, but I don't know if he's actually humble like he says he is. So I want you to check it out. Now, part of my problem, he says, is because I don't have a portrait of him. I have a portrait of all different kings in my palace, and this king I don't have a portrait of because he hides. He hides from his whole country. He spends his life behind a curtain, and no one sees him. So for this reason, I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's really humble. I don't even know what he looks like. I really would like to get a portrait of his. Okay, so the Chacham, the sage, goes to this country, and so first of all he says, I'm gonna have to try to figure out what this country is about. What's their thing? What do these people think? So how do I figure that out? He says the way you figure out what a country is about is by listening to what they joke about.
I heard that. I didn't hear the story, but I heard that.
Yeah. So he said, okay, I'm going to figure out what they're up to. So he goes to the market and starts listening to people's jokes. And he's listening and listening. He's starting to see the pattern. That people are laughing about stories about people being fooled by other people, and being cheated, and being lied to. That's like hilarious. Okay? So, and as he's studying this further and further, he really is starting to understand that's really what this country is about. It's full of cheaters and liars. And it's, you don't see it right away, but that's really what's going on in this country. And then what he does is he gets himself into some sort of a business deal with somebody, and obviously the guy rips him off. And then he goes to the court, and the court also is crooked, and there's bribery, and also they don't judge him.
The kingdom of the strong.
Yeah, humble king. Yeah, and the courts also treat him not justly, and he keeps on appealing the court case to a higher court, and he keeps on moving up in the ranks to the higher court. And one court he bribes them, and he comes tomorrow, and he say, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." And he keeps on seeing how deep seated the shalom, the lies are. Hi. So then 1 second. Finally he gets to the highest court, the Senate, and he sees there it's totally corrupt also. And from there he gets to the room of the king. And hi, come have a seat. We're telling a story from Nachman. And in any case, he gets to the king, and the king, as we said before, is behind a curtain. Okay, you don't see it.
It's really Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, exactly, yeah, the original. So he goes to the curtain. And he says, "King, you know your country is a terrible country. It's full of lies. Everyone's cheating and lying to each other." And all the ministers are standing there very upset. Why are you saying that to the king? That's no good. But the king who hears this is very curious. He says, "Oh wow, there's somebody saying something interesting, and he starts listening to the guy telling him about how the country is so crooked. Okay, and then this chacham, this wise person, decides that he's starting to praise the king. He says, it would seem to be that if you're the king of this country, you're probably also crooked or probably also a liar. But on the other hand, I'm thinking that maybe it's the opposite. I'm thinking that maybe the reason why you go behind this curtain is because you understand, how bad this country is, and you can't stand it. And he keeps on talking, saying, "Oh, you must be a really honest person. You're the most honest person out there." And then the Nachman says, this king, because he was a humble person, the more the guy praised him, the smaller he became. He felt even smaller. And the guy keeps on praising him. He becomes even keeps on becoming humbler and humbler until he praises him so much that he becomes like nothing. That's the language he uses, to become ka'ayin, like nothing. And then at that point, the king is so curious about this person who's telling him all this stuff that he opens the curtain to see who it is, and then the guy quickly draws a picture of him, and he got the picture, and he brings it back to the king who sent him. Okay.
It's a picture of nothing.
Okay. That's in short the story. Okay. So
The story is called.
that's the end of the story. Yeah.
This story is called.
Melech Anav, Ma'aseh Melech Anav, the humble king.
But can't you add to the story and extrapolate on this?
So what do you think?
Because as you were talking,
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, what's the message?
What's the message? So,
Okay, could that not be a comparison between a Baruch Hu and Yisrael?
that one.
First of all, God is hidden, like
Okay.
you can't see him.
Okay.
And God is strong, certainly,
Okay.
and God is humble. Like we can learn from Sukkim or whatever. And Yisrael, I wouldn't say everybody is corrupt. However, everybody at one time or another, the Veros.
Mm. Mm.
Does it mean though that when we praise Hashem, we become smaller?
That's what he seems to be saying something, which is a very, sounds like a riddle. But what does that mean? What does that mean?
So does Reb Nachman is it view that the king is supposed to be Hashem in this?
I think it's pretty obvious. Like that's what it means. The whole thing about the king behind the curtain seems to be pretty obvious. It's an allusion to Hashem.
And Hashem knows everything that's going on, so he's aware that people are, and this is why he's hidden. Right? The Shekhinah is hidden when we're not doing when we're doing a verb.
Right. That's also, it seems to be aligned with that. Meaning the idea, it's mentioned many times that we chase away the divine presence by our actions, or we bring it close. But again, as you mentioned, this last point is unusual. This point of becoming nothing. What is that? What's that all about? Right. So yeah, what are you thinking?
So when we praise Hashem, that nullifies ourselves. So we in essence become nothing, or we become Hashem.
Yeah. Because
God really wants our praises, or does God want us to acknowledge who He is by doing what the mitzvahs are? I'm asking this question because in the Midrash it says that after the plague of boil, the Parah started to praise God.
Mm-hmm.
And God ended that plague, and they didn't want to hear any more of the praise. So going back to the story, so the more that one praises God, if one praises God and does the mitzvahs, so perhaps God would not become himself. But if one just says, "Oh, you're just wonderful," and goes about his merry old way, so God says, "I don't need your praise, I don't need you."
Okay, I hear you saying. But I mean, I'm not. What I'm going to say now is I don't know if it's the answer, what this means, but it's something in the direction. So first of all, it's clearly that over here there's the theme is about humility, right? About what humility is. So let's for a moment take it away from Hashem being humble. Let's focus for a second about what for us, what us being humble means. Now, humility can be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? Sometimes someone needs help in something. I say, "Who am I to help?" Right? I'm nobody, so I don't help. Right? That's necessarily a good type of humility. Sometimes the true humility is being able to actually relate to others. So now, in this story, we have a king who's behind a curtain. There's something wrong there, right? Meaning that the country it's all messed up, it's all corrupt, and the king he puts himself behind the curtain. Okay, so he's not relating to the country. What's the reason why he's not relating to the country? If he's saying, "Well, this country is terrible, it's corrupt." Okay. Oh, so just to apply this little story about us, I think it's something which we do all the time. Meaning, we don't want to deal with people or situations which are okay. I can't deal with this. I just go away, right? But Nachman's saying that it has to do with humility, because what happens in the end? The guy comes in and he starts praising the king, and as a result of him praising, and the guy becomes smaller, and the king becomes smaller and smaller, and then he opens the curtain. Right. So what does that represent? That meaning to say the most humble thing was to open the curtain. Right.
Why?
Because that's what he did when he was the most humble. Yeah, he's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller, and then he's opening the curtain. That means that's the most humble thing to do. And the other thing we see in the story is that how did he reach his humility? Through being praised. Okay. So Nachman it seems to be saying something like this: that when I feel that I'm measuring myself with somebody else, okay, I feel good because I'm better than you, okay. So why am I doing that? Because I don't feel strong enough about myself, okay. So therefore, the only way to feel good is by measuring myself relative to others. So that's sort of the symbolism of behind the curtain. The king is saying, "Listen, I know that this country is corrupt. I hate corruption. I hate lies. So my way of being me is by being behind the curtain and saying they're that and I'm me, and I have nothing to do with them." But as he gets praised, right? The guy says to him, "You're such an honest person. You love truth, right?" So the more praise he receives, the less he needs the external measure of who he is. Meaning, I don't need to compare myself to the people in the country anymore. I am who I am. I'm an honest person. Okay. So the more the less I need the country. So therefore, I don't have to care anymore about the separation between me and the country.
How did he become the king of the country?
Doesn't say. He was a
charismatic leader, or he was a fiat. It was just he took over.
It doesn't say.
In the text, it was that he was a warrior. He was a great warrior, right?
Well, he says he was a gibor, he was a strong person.
So he was a warrior. So he may have been, the kind of the titular head of this country. They needed a king. Kings make you feel safe.
Yeah.
That kind of king. So the business. So he became the king. Now, did the people have any type of relationship with their king, other than all they saw was the veil? Like that?
Yeah, like that. Meaning maybe he gave orders from behind the curtain.
So a veil so veil is a separation. A veil is also a sense of privacy. It's you mentioned the Wizard of Oz, so it's as you're saying, he didn't, people bugged us. So what we do is we kind of create how do you say kfil in English? Kfil is its stunt double. You create kind of a persona. Persona does my work for me. Like if you want to talk to the president, so you have to go through millions and millions and millions of people in order to get to him. He doesn't have time to talk. So he creates all of these bureaucracy in order to protect him. So the king, although he was a gibor, so he was very weak. He was very weak because he couldn't deal with people. The people who maybe wanted things from him. And this person, who is this person who came?
He's the Chacham, yeah. He's a wise man.
The wise man. And in Rabbi Nachman's writing, who's the Chacham is who is that?
Again, the interpretations for the story, there's no clue.
So that he created a relationship. He created a new way that he could be himself, and that he could become who he really was. I mean, you said that with the Dorothy story is that the charlatan, the wizard was the charlatan in her real life, and so he couldn't have a real relationship with people. He had to lie. So he found this in his pre-dream days. It's my favorite movie. It's a great movie.
Yeah, but I just want to point out over here it's the opposite. The king is not a charlatan. It's the opposite. He can't stand the lying country.
But
it's different type of archetype.
He could not. See, the problem with lying is that the person who's lied to doesn't know they're being lied to. Let's say I tell you that my name is Josh Mark. You don't know. You don't know that that's true. I know I'm lying. It's not Josh Mark. It's Barack Obama. I shouldn't say that maybe you can say that. No, but the point is I'm lying.
I wouldn't allow you to stay in this room with that too.
Okay. So, but the point is, you don't know that I'm lying, though. So,
okay. So what are you getting to?
So the point is that a law that the liar is the lie to is the lie. He's living in bliss. He's thinking it's great. It's tremendous. I don't know I'm being lied to. They keep on telling me that the government has enough money to pay for all of expenses, and that they take my taxes and whatnot. And they're all b'simcha rabbah. It's all good until they find out that the liar is a liar, and that's it. But the liar is the one who has to live with the fact that he's. They say a lot.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're getting to.
What I'm getting to is that it's the shevach here. I don't know if it was so much the praise, but it was that the man was finding an authentic. He was caught in a relationship with these people that did not allow him to be who he was.
Right.
And there was a transactional relationship that essentially it required him to be totally immobilized, to be nothing. He was just this titular head that was no real power other than the fantasies that people had about him. And he was nothing. But then when this Chacham came, so the Chacham, I don't know if it was so much that he had to praise him, but he was able to relate to him as a real person, and it happened to have been that he saw the goodness in him. And
okay, I'm sorry, I hear you saying.
Being small is a very nice thing. Being small is a very nice thing.
Yeah. So I was trying to sharpen it a little bit. Do I have more of this thing about being small? That when I as a person I'm feeling pressure to prove myself. Okay, I need to prove that I'm an honest person. So then I say I'm honest and they're not honest, and therefore I can't handle them. But if I'm totally okay, I know that's what he's saying. That's what being small, being nothing means. I'm okay. Another way of saying I'm okay. It's not about being small in the derogatory sense. It means that I'm nothing. I'm okay. I don't have any pressures. Okay. The second I don't have any pressures, So then I'm free to look at other people and say, "Oh, you have a problem? Can I help you with your problem?" Meaning, the point is that this country has a very serious problem. Okay, everyone's corrupt, and the first person to help them will be the king. But the king is not able to do that because he says, "Wow, I can't handle these lying people." But the second the king reaches a level, a madrega of being nothing, he says, "Oh, okay, I'm nothing. What I'm nothing means that I'm okay with my honesty. I'm okay with who I am." And now all of a sudden I can pull the veil away and look at who these people are and say, maybe I'll be able to help them. Okay. So first of all, I think the message he's saying is about our arrogance and humility, is that not always is the path to humility about realizing our faults. Sometimes that is. It's not always that. Sometimes the path to humility is just about being comfortable, saying, "I am who I am. It's good," and that saying "I am who I am" takes away all the pressure we have to prove things to other people and say, "I'm not like you," and in that way I'm proving something. No, it's like a certain, it's like a like it says, Kohelet says, "Hevel havalim, hevel havalim, kol havel." Right, the world is hevel. It's the literal meaning of hevel is like air. It's like sometimes making things into nothing is the most strengthening thing. So that's what Nachman is saying from as far as what it means for us to be humble. But the weird thing over here is that he's saying it presumably about Hashem in some sort of way. So how does that fit in?
Well,
Yeah.
And the praise part.
And the praise part
I'm
also.
not sure how that plays in.
Yeah. So I don't have a total answer for this, but it seems like this. Again, Hashem's presence in the world very much depends on us. Okay, how much we bring Hashem in. Okay, that's really sort of the simple interpretation of this story is like, how much is this guy going to succeed to bring Hashem into the world? And as we know, praising Hashem is one of the ways we relate to Him, right? Okay, it's sort of a subtle point. I forget how to say this. One of the things we say is kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. It's like the biggest. That's what the biggest statement you say. Someone one time said that. Let's say you're in the middle of an earthquake. So a lot of slogans that you say during your whole life all of a sudden become irrelevant. But you're saying kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. That fits in the middle of an earthquake too. Why is it important that we say Hashem's kadosh, kadosh, kadosh? Like kadosh means separate, above. Why is that so important?
Because that's the reality of it.
But to say it is to connect with Him. You were saying that it's a dialogue. It's a paradox, because when you praise someone, when you praise God, you're actually becoming God. You're connecting with God. You're identifying that when I go to a baseball game and I start cheering. So I'm not only happy what they're doing, I'm also feeling I'm part of them.
But this is a different case, because God is infinite. God is the praisee, as it were, to use the word. And the Batadam is the praise, and we are finite.
Yeah. Okay. Like you're saying, is that we're saying something paradoxical when we say that. When we say this theme, kadosh, 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 in essence, we're saying Hashem's above us, but we are the ones who are saying Hashem is above us. But again, it's important for us to recognize Hashem as above us. Not only Hashem is strong and kind. It's not enough to say that. It's important to say Hashem's way above. Now, this thing of Hashem's way above is similar to the thing we were talking about before about humility. It's just like in the world, I can say I'm okay. When I say I'm okay, I'm saying I'm above. I'm saying I'm not pulled down by everything that's going on. I'm okay. That's like the miniature version about what we say about Hashem. We're saying Hashem's okay. Hashem is who He is. All all the craziness in this world, Hashem's above it. And it's not a simple thing to do, because we're so in the world. Our whole consciousness is so in the world and all its problems and all, and to for a second think, wow, there's something which is above all this is a big thing. And also, it's a way of being able to look at the bad things in the world, because if I look at Hashem, it's like one of us. He's like living here in the world, like with us. So then Hashem is one of us. How can there be so much bad people in the world? It doesn't make any sense. But when you say no, Hashem's above it. Hashem's in it, but Hashem's above it. And sort of that look from above, say, okay, it could be there's a lot of bad things in the world that need to be fixed. Hashem's above it. Hashem's looking. Hashem's going to help. But his path, that this man's path to the king was through looking at the country and seeing everything's corrupt. Meaning sometimes seeing the truth or seeing bad things in the world can actually lead to a positive place. Meaning, you see, it's not always about being optimistic. Everything's okay. Somebody say, "Wow, there's so much corruption," and then you said, and then that feeling of breaking. Wow, the world's so broken. You say, "There's so much corruption. Everything's broken." Wow, now Hashem's above that. That sort of opens us up to feel Hashem's above. Again, I know this point was a little subtle, but I think Nachman's connecting between what true humility is for humans and how we look at Hashem, vis-a-vis his interaction with the world. Both of them have this element of, being okay, being above things, being unaffected, and when you're unaffected, you're able to give. It's like, therapists do this also. Have this thing of like, a therapist, at least according to the classic model, is not supposed to tell the patient anything about their personal lives. It's like, I'm just a person. It's something about there's a power of that. I think he's looking at me from above, and he's going to listen to me. Right? That thing of being distant is something very powerful about that. The classic avodah zarahs were the opposite. Gods are very close. Very human. Like he doesn't have that distance. It's one of us. It's this thing of kadosh is very transcendent Jewish thing.
Is it enough to recognize that God is outgoing, is superior to us? I don't know. Like they don't have to do anything.
We talk about one thing at a time. I just think that this of course there's a million things to do, but this I think Nachman's telling us a spiritual truth over here, which is worth meditating on a little bit, about the virtue of being above things, and how humility is something way deeper than just not thinking I'm better than other people. It's much deeper thing than that. Just the classic thing of humility. Arrogant person, someone who walks around thinking is better than other people. It's much more than that. It's about the ability of being totally separate and totally okay. Not jumping into the whole game of like, am I better than you? You're better than me. It's sort of like shuts down that whole game.
But it's both being separate, but also being part of it.
Yeah, that's the irony, that the moment the king becomes nothing, he can open the curtain, because he doesn't have that pressure anymore of saying, oh, these people are corrupt. So a lot of times, that can work with people. We should recognize sometimes what's bothering us so much with certain people is because it's our issues. It's not them. I have an issue, whatever it is, and that's what makes me very, very uncomfortable with a certain person. The second I relax, however I find my way to relax, I can relate. I can say, hi, who are you? What do you need? How can I help you? Well, maybe I can't help you, but I can at least see you. You know, it's
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to. I was watching something, a TED Talk yesterday, so it's somewhat related. It's a little digression, but so it was about how our appearance has a huge effect on other people, but also the way we look has an effect on ourselves, and we can actually so some people shrink, sometimes, and this gets into smallness, being
Yeah.
small. So sometimes people shrink into themselves, and they and they give up their power, and sometimes people are very expansive.
Yeah.
So what the study was, what was fascinating, was that you can actually, the way you posture yourself can actually change your mind and change how people perceive you and
Yeah.
how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how it directly relates to this, but it really struck me. So it's like, say, like if you have an interview, if you have something that's going to be stressful, for 2 minutes before, if you sort of puff up yourself, it actually changes your testosterone level, and it also eliminates some of your stress.
Mm.
So I was very struck by that. Because it's this whole issue of humility and false humility, and how that can be really destructive.
Yeah.
And that we need to puff ourselves up. But I'm not sure it totally relates to this. But,
in the Zohar, it says that the students would praise their teacher,
before you
and then he was able to mamish teach, like it enabled him to really give something over very, very powerful. Meaning, it's like you're saying, it's this thing of humility and real humility, fake humility. It's a big issue. It's not always what we think it is. Sometimes we're humble because we're.
So the praise is enabled to shrink, but to open up. Yeah, that's where I'm getting.
No, so the way I'm understanding is the shrink. What's the shrinking? The shrinking is that when I'm, let's say I want to know who's stronger, me or you. So I'm always have to prove myself that I'm stronger than you. What if I went to the gym for 5 years and I feel so strong, like I don't even care how strong you are. I'm so comfortable in my own strength. So I become small. Meaning I don't have to have a stance versus you. That's called becoming small. Yeah, I am. It's like people who are very smart are comfortable being silent in conversation and not having to say witty things because, what do I have to prove? I know. People who feel not sure if they're really smart. You say, oh, I heard. It's the thing of our need to prove things is very strong.
It seems to me that when one recognizes the superiority of the Parasparka over oneself, one would or should automatically recognize the humbleness in front of God. And if one wants to have some kind of a kesher with God, and the way to do that is, and recognizing the superiority, and the way to have a connection is by obeying what God wants us to do.
Okay.
And doing what God wants us to do. And these are the mitzvahs.
Okay.
But I gather first one needs to recognize this superiority. I'm not sure if that's the right word.
Okay.
I mean, if I felt I was unequal, I was just like God, then I
should probably lock you up.
Then I would evaluate the mitzvah according to what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people like that, I don't do this and I don't do that, I remember when I was still a boy, my parents' table, my father gave a little talk, said you can learn from everybody. And he says we can even learn from an atheist. He had a habit of posing a situation and asking the kid, what do you think? Anyway, what can you learn from an atheist? An atheist doesn't believe in God. So when a poor man knocks on your door, you got to think there is no God, and you give him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
See, I've always known this, but the fact that you are talking and you bring it up.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is, we'll basically stop over here. I just want to mention one thing which Nachman says elsewhere, which is also further in this theme. He talks about this thing about receiving insults. Nachman created a whole spiritual practice out of dealing with insults, and he actually says that it's that real tshuva is when you're able to just take an insult and just shrug it off. He says it's a real sign of spiritual development, and and we are tested in this over and over in order to bring us up. And it's really related to this thing, because obviously just being silent in itself doesn't mean anything. A person can get an insult just not saying anything because he doesn't want to. But you're not talking about not saying anything. You're saying about internally being able to deal with it. Okay, this person insulted me, and it's very, very difficult. But it's very intertwined with what he talks about in this story about someone thinks I'm bad or nothing. How do I deal with it? So I need to pull for myself a feeling of worth that's independent of other people, and that forces me to go through this humble type of a place of saying I am who I am. And it's very difficult. It's one of the most difficult things. People go crazy when they're insulted. People go on rampages.
It's the same thing if you're insulted or if you're complimented. It shouldn't have an effect.
Yeah, it's the other side. Yeah, that's the Gemara says the pasuk it says that those who love Hashem are like the sun that rises in strength, and the Gemara says that's talking about people who deal with insults properly. It's like it's super strength. That's like the example of a spiritually strong person, So should be zocheh.
Anything about the portrait?
Oh yeah, I didn't go into that. That's like a good question. What's the thing about the portrait? What is that? Yet that's really the goal of his whole trip.
The portrait may not be the way a person looks, but the way a person acts. Like, how do we know who God is? By God's behavior. He comes to hover him.
Well, one thing that could be is that it's basing on the idea, the premise that you can understand somebody through his face, right? That's why you have a portrait of somebody. The king wants to get to understand his king, and all this time before the king is elevated, is raised to this place of being nothing, so he can't really show his face because he's separate from this kingdom. The second, he becomes this level of being above, then he can show his face. Meaning, a lot of times, I think also personally, when we are dealing with all types of hang-ups, like am I this, am I that, all that stops us from really showing our face to the world, because it's like I need to be this, I need to be that. Our faces at that point are not real. They're just trying to prove something. When I become clean, clean myself out and say I'm not trying to prove anything, all of a sudden our faces are saying who we are. It's
and he was willing to let people see his face when it was real.
Exactly. When the face is not real, then there's nothing to see. When all of a sudden we get clean and feel comfortable, at that point, I have myself. Sometimes I feel myself. I'm talking to somebody, and all of a sudden I feel my smile is too fixed. I'm not being real with this person. I'm just smiling to be nice. And sort of just like the act of loosening the face. It's something that's gonna be a feeling of, okay, let me be here more now instead of just being polite. Thank you.